The most difficult part is you just have, the whole life has changed. You can't go see family, I can't go see my parents because they're quite older and I don't want, to bring something home to them. The whole human interaction's off and you take things for granted. They can just run out and get this, get that. So that's been hard. And then the working from home has been an adjustment. I honestly don't like it. I thought I would like it because Honeywell never really allowed any of us to work from home. But on a continual basis and not a one-off, let's say if it was bad weather or I needed to be home for some reason, I don't like it. I miss that interaction, miss the collaboration of people.
Well, the isolation takes you away from friends, co-workers. You're doing everything remotely, which is a little sterile. It's not human interaction anymore. It's like everything is communication digital. It's artificial in a way. But we can still communicate with cell phones and texts, but it's just it takes away from being part of the world. You're like separate from your favorite restaurant, your people that you like to see on a daily basis. That's just out of the picture. And then when you do see human beings, when you are allowed out, which nobody really is unless you have a necessity in your job is a necessity. But when you go out just to get a cup of coffee, everybody's wearing a mask. So how impersonal is that? So that's the biggest adjustment. It's a bit depressing over time, but the fact that we're at least with our family helps to soften that blow.
I'm not able to attend class, be physically in the class and learning from the professor, and interacting with my peers. One-on-one is a better learning environment than being online on like Zoom and listening to what he or she has to say on there. You can get the assignments done a lot easier when you have time to physically interact with the professor and ask them the questions that need to be answered. Also, the whole schedule. I'm in the graduate program, so the whole schedule is all messed up. I'm taking 3 classes, so it kind of gets confusing on when things are due, when things aren't due. The instructions sometimes get a little confusing. And when you email the professor a question, they get back to you not immediately. So that would be my first main problem. The second main problem I work at a restaurant, and obviously they're just doing takeout or delivery, so they do not need me or the other people I work with right now. So really the main thing I'm doing with this whole coronavirus is just doing online schoolwork, a lot of essays due, while not being able to do my job.
I get out of the house and try to walk as much as I can. We have like a local lake area where there's a trail. I do that. I've been doing a lot of walking that way, keep my exercise going and getting fresh air. Sometimes I actually just sit outside, whether I'm listening to my book or listening to music. And family time when I can get my 2 sons out of their rooms to...
I think you really still keep in contact with your friends. Try to get your mind off of it. Don't watch too much news. Obviously keep yourself informed, but not staying away from the news is positive. Anything that distracts you from what's going on, I think is very beneficial. Since, like I said, I don't work. Besides schoolwork, there's not much to do being quarantined to your house. So watching TV, Netflix, movies, video games is good ways to get your mind off of it.
Well, as you know, I'm a conservation biologist by trade, so I have an affinity for the outdoors and natural places, and I can still sneak out to those places and be socially distanced from everybody except the flora and the fauna. So that definitely has kept me sane. We live in a very interactive world, so what you see on TV is pretty multivaried. You do have the cyber world to keep you educated and up to speed, which is a good way for everybody to get through this, we can probably have more time to contemplate our other interests. So I think my family and myself are all taking advantage of that. And of course, being with the family one-on-one is an opportunity to understand each other's personality more. So that's been a positive experience as well.
Well, in retrospect, I think we could have started, in Honeywell's example, I think we could have started working from home maybe about a week earlier, because the day that they announced, let's say it was a Tuesday, and they announced Wednesday working from home, that Tuesday afternoon they had to totally walk around and get everybody out of the building because someone came down with it. Luckily I wasn't there that day, but so yeah, I think but as I said, I think everybody's learning. We're just not used to something like this. It's something so deadly. It's actually worse than the flu, so it's hard to judge people on their decisions.
Yeah, they've done a good job with what they've been given. I work for an environmental consulting firm that has many disciplines, so we work for public and private sector clients that most of them have scaled down, and they're isolated as well, and you can't get on their sites. So the economics of all this has driven down our overall company's utilization meaning the amount of billable hours. So that, of course, has caused the company to look into the future 2 months, 4 months down the road, and enact some drastic changes, cutting of hours, furloughs, trying to keep people in a situation where their spirits can still be high, but they have to make tough decisions, and that all is a drop down scenario where everybody in the company is literally taking some type of hit. So they're handling it well. I think they have to prepare for that, and every company that is working within the public arena and relies on other companies for their goods and services, we're all in it together. So I guess from that standpoint, I see that most companies are handling it well.
I would praise my school with that they canceled it pretty early on. I can't talk for the students who are actually physically on campus and living in dorms, because I commute to school now. So I don't know how they did with that, but overall I think they did a good job in taking the precautions necessary to ensure the safety of the student body.